Hi, this is Justin from Money Bootcamp answering some Friday financial questions. Today I'm answering a question that has come up with a couple of my planning clients. Bitcoin, right? A question I often get is, what is Bitcoin and am I losing out if I'm not in Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a digital currency and there's a lot of confusion around digital currencies, Bitcoins, other cryptos right now, where basically rather than a currency being run by the government, these are currencies distributed online and run by lots of people all over the world. A currency is two things. It's a store of value and it's a method of exchange. So it's a store of value in that if I do some work now, I can, when I get paid for that, if I get paid in euro, I can keep that money and use it later. So that's one purpose. It's a store of value. The other thing you want to do is exchange for it. So I can then exchange for goods and services within the Eurozone. I can use my euro anywhere. I can also exchange that for other currencies. If I go to the UK, I can get some pound. If I go to the US, I can get US dollar. If it doesn't meet those two requirements, it's not really a currency. So with all of these cryptocurrencies and with Bitcoin, you need to ask yourself, does it meet these two requirements? So right now as a store of value, it's very hard to tell with most cryptocurrencies because you don't know if it will be around or if it's going to rise or go down really quickly. There's a lot of volatilities in the markets with cryptocurrencies. Some of them are going up by thousands of euro a day or down by thousands of euro a day. Bitcoin, I think, was around 2,000 at the start of 2017. It went up towards 20,000. There was a hack on one of the exchanges and they went down to 12,000. So that's massive volatility. If you're putting your money in there, if you put it in at the wrong time, it could be disastrous for you. Does Bitcoin meet these requirements is kind of a yes, no, maybe, we'll see situation. So is it a store of value? Yes, in some ways, because you can use it as a store of value, but it's so volatile, it's very hard to use it. If you're looking to put your money in euro to Bitcoin, you don't really know what it's going to be. There's not really anything to give it that set value right now. So it is, but it kind of isn't. It's a tricky one. Eventually it may stabilize and it may be a lot easier to tell. Right now there's over 1,000 of these cryptocurrencies. I personally think almost all of them at some stage will probably disappear, collapse or join together. So we could have 2 or 3 or 10 cryptocurrencies at the end of this that actually last. But it seems like right now anyone is trying to get in and make their own cryptocurrency or do an ICO. Risks you need to consider as well. If you have your money in euro, if you have your money in US dollar or sterling, you know it's probably not going to change that much in value from today to tomorrow to next year. It might change a bit, it might go up and down, but it's not going to be huge. With Bitcoin, it's just all over the place, so it's very hard to see as a store of value. It's also hard to use, so this is the method of exchange. If I go to any shop in the Eurozone, I can spend my euro. If I go into a bank, I can give them the euro to deposit. If I want to spend money online, I can use euro for anything. With Bitcoin, this is a lot harder. There's not as many places accepting it. It's hard to use Bitcoin. Initially, there was people just using it to buy drugs online, and now it has extended that you can use it in other places, but it's still very hard to use. It may be illegal. Not now, maybe later, maybe it won't be. China has banned all ICOs. Russia previously banned Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies. And it's very hard to tell because it's so early. The regulation hasn't caught up and regulators worldwide are really scrambling to see what they're going to do with this. One of the main things that keeps you comfortable with your own currency is that it's backed by your government and there's central banks and regulators and the safety mechanisms in place. If you get scammed out of money with your credit card, with your debit card, there's ways of getting your money back. I personally had 1 or 2 accounts hacked before and my information stolen, and I didn't lose a penny. I made a phone call, told them what happened, and they just cancelled the card and gave my money back. That is not something that exists for Bitcoin or other cryptos. So you have to be able to say, is this money I can lose? Is this money I'm okay with if I put it into it, that it may not be there? It could double its size in the next year. You don't know because of volatility. It could also half, or someone could defraud you and steal your money, and there's not going to be the protection there because it's going to be in Bitcoin rather than a normal currency. That safety you'd normally get when you're using a normal currency like euro or dollar, it's great to have because these things have developed over time to be there for consumers. Right now with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, there is no consumer protection in place. There's no regulation there to protect you. There's a lot of scams out there, so you really need to have your wits about you and you need to have some top security in place, whereas you don't necessarily need to have that because banks and financial system already have this in place for normal currencies that you use day to day. Bitcoin, should you invest in it, should you be getting into it, is like most investments, it's a very personal question, but you need to look at your own situation. I would typically say you want to have your emergency fund in place, you want to have your savings in place, you want to make sure you don't have other debt that's there before you're putting money into any investments. But with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, you have to ask yourself a lot more questions because of the volatility, because of the lack of security, because of the fact that it could be illegal in your country or worldwide a few years from now, and you can't know this now. Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, could be the next big thing. Unless you can tell the future, you are going to be taking quite a big risk putting money into it. So make sure if you're putting money into it, it's not a large part of your portfolio. If you have €100,000 of a portfolio, you probably shouldn't put more than 10,000 into Bitcoins, or you're going to be over 10% of your whole portfolio. It's going to be quite risky. So you need to look at it from that. What is a safe level of risk you can take? If you have tons and tons of money that you're able to put into it, and it doesn't matter if you lose it all, that's fine, but just don't rush headfirst into it in case it does disappear, in case you get defrauded out of it, in case it becomes illegal. Bitcoin or other cryptos could be the next big thing, but they could also be the next bubble. There's been a lot of bubbles like this in the past. There's been the .com bubble. If you want to look up something quite entertaining, see that the Long Island iced tea company changed its name to Long Island Bitcoin or Long Island blockchain, which is reminiscent of what happened in the internet boom in the 1990s, of companies just putting .com after their name and their share prices skyrocketing because people wanted to invest in .com so much. You need to consider that and how it would affect you. It's all about your personal ability to take these risks. So you may want to take these risks, but if your financial situation doesn't allow it, maybe you need to hang on. If you really want to do it and you have some other money put aside in safer investments, if you have savings in place, go ahead, just know the risks and take it handy. This has been Justin from Money Bootcamp. Learn money, live better.